Welcome to Monkey Chatter. Monkey Chatter is a podcast by three great friends who have different perspectives on all things wellness. So let's jump right into today's topic.
Hello, welcome to Monkey Chatter. This is Amy, and I'm here with Lara and Michelle as always. And we there have got lots of giggles tonight. And before we started, we were just talking about some of our adventures together. And but it kind of ties in perfectly to the topic for today because we were going to talk about why we started a podcast. I feel like we've alluded to it on several of the episodes, but we've never really put the full story out there. So we thought this would be a fun one to do. And I think we're all in a little bit of like a giggly mood tonight. So this could be interesting, or today, depending on when you're listening to it. So yeah, lots of stories, but who wants to give their version about why we started a podcast?
Well, you need to go first, Amy.
Oh.
You get to go first.
I don't know.
Why did we start this podcast?
I don't know, because you said we
Curious
should.
Monkey wants to know.
Because you said we should. That's how it started.
Which is really pretty funny since,
Yeah.
It was your
ability
idea,
to do that.
Michelle.
It was your idea, Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, I don't know.
Why did you say yes?
Like backing up years ago, we all, and again, we've alluded to this on previous episodes, but like we all worked together and put on several events for work and stuff, and I feel like we all got along really well. And I'm gonna give the condensed version of this, and then we can talk a little bit more about. And then we were all supposed to go on a yoga trip together, and that got canceled, so we decided to go anyway. And we all ended up in Belize. And again, we talked about that on our beach episode. I think we've talked about our Belize trip and some of the adventures from that. And then when 2020 happened, we all decided to like do some happy hour time together, virtually, of course, because we're all in different states. And then like once the world kind of opened back up, we stopped doing those. Like I feel like were we doing them like once a month or something? I don't even know how often we were doing them.
It's about once a month, I think. That sounds right. Yeah.
We were just kind of and so I think we decided that we had a lot of fun on those and we should keep doing them. It took us a little while though, because we didn't actually start the podcast until 2024. I think the idea came up like the end of 2023, and then we started it in 2024. Is that right? Am I right?
I think you got it right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, I think we did it because we had fun together, and we kind of thought we were entertaining. I don't know if we really are.
We were entertaining to each other.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the condensed version. I don't know, what did I miss or what did I get wrong in there?
I think there was a part of the reason was in 2020 we also formed what we called Three Monkeys Wellness.
Oh gosh, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
That's why it takes three. Yeah.
And we actually were gonna do some little online retreats, and we did do one.
Yeah. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And so we were kind of like, let's do like some wellness retreats online, and we'll each lead a different section of it. And then we did one, and it was fun. And then we didn't get much traction beyond that. And then, like you said, things opened up. I mean, we all kind of went different directions, but we were still communicating, just not as often. And I think we were like, kind of like, this kind of sucks. Like, I miss you guys. And so we were like, every time we'd get together, we really should record these because we would crack each other up so much.
It could have been the wine.
Yeah, and then we were thinking about the wellness angle and how we wanted to do all these like little mini retreats and wellness programs, and we thought, well, why don't we just make that a focus since we all have an interest in it in a different way, and then we'll really do a podcast. But it did take us a while.
Yeah.
And a lot of technical investigating by Amy.
There was a
And
lot of YouTube watching
so let's
on
be
how to
really,
set up
really
a podcast.
clear. Like, maybe I had the idea, but if it was left to me, it would never have happened. Like, I would not have executed this plan. And I thought it would be a good idea because I really love talking about these kinds of topics with people who I actually like. and am interested in what they have to say, right? Because not everybody wants to dig into the topics that we talk about, right? So like it really is sometimes a challenge if you want to play in this space, right? The wellness space and the, mental health and, just sort of, for lack of a better phrase, like the living your best life sort of scenario, like all of that. And people who are open-minded and willing to talk about, let's talk about forest bathing or grounding or, so many people are just, not going there, right? So to find two other folks who really want to have those conversations and sort of play around in that, I think is not always super easy. So selfishly for me, I was like, oh, Lara and Amy, that would be good. And then, but yeah, if it was left to me, I have zero technical capability. And so it would never, ever have happened. So Lara and Amy I'll be perfectly honest, do all the heavy lifting as far as getting this out. But I thoroughly enjoy our conversations. So I really appreciate the fact that they do all that work. So that's sort of my thought around why we do a podcast. It's all for me.
Because you wanted to.
Because I wanted to. And I have friends who, make my dreams happen. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Lara. I got a few other things on my list. Maybe you could work on those.
I love all that. I mean, I think we should maybe back up a little and give people more, because we do, out of context, we do bring up our old work life together a lot. And I'm guessing a lot of people who listen don't have any clue how we actually met. So I thought it'd be fun to, I know how I met you all. Like, okay, I'll just like lay the groundwork. So the three of us, this is going to sound weird if you're not into horses, but we were all horse feed representatives. So just like there are drug representatives that visit your doctor every day or week or whatever and try to get them, using the product to sell to their patients, feed companies, and this is true of all livestock and also pets and horses, feed companies hire representatives who are salespeople to go and educate store managers and people who work in the stores and customers on the right products to feed to their animals. And we have to learn nutrition, sales tactics, and how to train people. So really, we do all three have this background in like training and educating people. And so that kind of does play into maybe what we're doing with the podcast in a way, and also what we wanted to do with Three Monkeys Wellness. But I mean, sometimes I look back and I know you guys, Amy and Michelle still work in this same field. And I kind of moved away from the horse feed sales, but stayed in sales in the horse industry. So sales and marketing really was like my whole career for 30 years. And then I kind of went crazy and went to yoga teacher training and ended up opening a wellness business. But I still like credit my background with education, sales, and marketing with allowing me to, run a business and be the marketing director and sell people and educate people on what we offer. So that's kind of the backstory to like how the three of us really met and what we were all doing when we first met. But we used to go on not retreats, like but they were not retreats.
I'm like, well,
that is not a good explanation.
Conferences.
So can you guys,
educational conferences,
explain a sales conference to our audience? Somebody. What do we do at those things?
Sit and try to absorb a lot of information in a very short period
Yeah,
of time.
Yes.
in a very short period of time. Usually in rooms without windows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think part of it was, so we used to do this one like really huge horse show in Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
And that's how we really all started. And we used to do like some of these like happy hour hospitality events and stuff for our customers.
Wait, I know where
And
we're going with this.
yeah, no. So we
Mm.
we had a few hiccups here and there with a few things until we learned the ropes of all of that and where to get food from and where maybe not to.
Well,
or to
and
be a little more clear. Yeah.
So I think we should tell this little story because we think it's funny. But like, you're right. So we all worked together. That was how we met. We all hung out together at conferences. But we really kind of bonded, I think.
Yeah.
Because of that big horse show that was an annual event. And I lived in Kentucky and you guys were coming from other places. And I was like the shipping center. So everything would get shipped to my house. Everything would go in my truck, break my truck's windows, do all the damage. No, just kidding. But
we did really break the window out of there.
I really did. The first event that we all did together was so hilarious because we had like a local rider and we were going to do meet and greets and like you said, like a little happy hour.
And cheese.
Yeah. So Amy, tell the story. So they asked me, like, because I'm local, well, what would you recommend if we want to get like a little, like charcuterie tray? And I was like, there's a local company I will not name because they're a great store.
Yeah, they're great.
They were great.
We just weren't clear enough, I think.
But yeah, they're a great store. We shall not name them. However,
no, they're amazing.
There was some miscommunication on what was ordered.
Yeah. So I think we were thinking we were getting little finger sandwiches and, things like that.
Charcuterie stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little,
and Michelle and I went to pick up the platters and they brought them out. And they were basically like rolled up lunch meat and
cheese.
Stacks of cheese.
Cheese. Meat and cheese for all.
It was definitely meat and cheese. Yeah, meat and cheese.
Oh my god.
So not quite what we had in mind, but again, it was great. I mean, the people loved it. So
and there was wine.
Yeah, there was definitely wine. That helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we definitely did like some tailgate things because they had like tailgate.
Oh.
So like we used to do the whole happy hour thing with one group and then we would do the tailgate. So it was like a weekend of basically throwing parties.
Yeah.
And so we were like, hey,
let's be honest, that sounds way more glamorous than the actual physical putting up your tent in the rain. Like, so just for people who are thinking that, all we do is throw parties and, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point to make, Michelle, because how would you describe, if you're not a horsey person and have never been to a tailgate, describe that?
Yes.
You're in a field. You're in a big field.
Well, first you have to get in the field, and usually you have to get in the field super freaking early. So that means that Amy and Michelle are at Walmart at 4:30 in the morning or whatever it is.
I still have my horny unicorny. Okay, so one time.
Okay. So it's like just
somebody's gonna hate this whole episode, but we are gonna have the best time. But yeah, one morning we were at Walmart at like, I don't know,
it was early.
o'clock, whatever,
yes,
like definitely still way dark.
Yeah.
And we found this, I should bust him out. I still have him in my backpack. We found this like little rubber squishy unicorn in the shopping cart and I kept him and he still travels with me everywhere I go and I call him Horny Unicorny.
Oh my gosh.
Horn.
Do you still have that?
I do. He's in my backpack.
Yeah.
I'm going to put
myself
on mute so that you can't hear me banging around to get him, but he literally is like right here. He's just out of arm's reach. But I'm going to get him. So you guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to get Horny Unicorny out of my backpack.
Morning. Well, Michelle, I remember Michelle is right about like setting up a tent in the rain. I mean, and this was in April in Kentucky, so the weather is super
In the field.
unpredictable.
In a field, mud, like you're only allowed in at a certain time, and they are like serious about,
And
where you
we're inviting
go.
clients too, so we have a lot of clients at this event, and we're like, you need to come by, the tailgate and partake in some of the things. So you have to worry about enough food and keeping things cold or keeping things from getting wet. I mean, it's not glamorous. And then I do
No.
remember we have a fabulous picture
Here's
of us
Horny
eating
Unicorn.
scarves.
Oh, he
Oh,
smushed. He really
He's traveled a
smushed.
lot of miles with me.
Yeah.
But
So Horny Unicorny originally,
Horny Unicorny.
yeah, there he is.
Little side
oh my
profile.
gosh, there's probably some poor child out there that was like, what happened to my horny unicorny?
Lost his butt. What
Well,
happened there?
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my God, I
Horny
can't believe we
Unicorny.
still have him. So yeah,
Yep.
a lot of things go on at Walmart in, the pre-dawn hours.
Yeah.
But there's so much prep and planning and so much like all that for like one day of being out in potentially a rainy, miserable day with all kinds of food. Of course, alcohol's involved because it's horse people. And I mean, it's a big to do. And Amy is, as we've mentioned before, was the spreadsheet organizer of all of this.
Thank God, right? Like,
Thank
it's
God.
okay. I don't mind being like the labor portion of the program, right? So that was good. Amy made sure all this stuff got where it needed to be when it needed to be there. Lara made sure we got where we needed to be when we needed to be there.
Yeah.
And then, I just schlepped things, picked things up and put them down. Yeah.
And you also spilled olive juice all
I was
over
just
some poor
thinking
guy.
about that wonderful, wonderful moment. Yeah, where I was covered head to toe in like oily olive, whatever.
Oh no.
You were the bartender, Michelle.
I know. Well,
That.
opening things is really hard for me. So
Yeah. But
that
no,
was
you were a great bartender.
Oh yeah. Yeah, years of experience bartending really has paid off with this career. I had no idea. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We used to make some mean Bloody Marys. Yeah.
We had a ton of fun. Yeah. So
We did.
We had so much fun that when like I left that job, and then I think Amy left that job too temporarily. You went on to do something different. Yeah.
In the wellness world. Yeah.
Yeah. And we all three ended up pursuing things outside of our main career that were wellness related, which you all probably do know because we've talked about that many times. But, that kind of, even though we weren't working together, that kept us sort of tied together. And that's what kept our calls going, which eventually turned into the podcast. But yeah, we just kept doing these little things together. And of course, if they were in town, we'd still get together and hang out. And when we started talking about the podcast, it was really just a joke.
Right? Yeah, it was.
Because we were still using Zoom just so we could see each other. I don't know why. I don't think we were doing FaceTime much. I think it was just easier to do Zoom.
Zoom, yeah.
And we were literally like, why aren't we should just record this.
Be recording this, right? I think the thing too is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like each of us really are people who collaborate well, like who prefer to do things like with other people for the most part, as long as they're people that aren't a pain in the like, and that's hard too, right? It's really, I think about travel, right? So when we used to travel a lot together, there really is a difference between people who are good travelers and not annoying to travel with and people who are not. So it's sort of the same thing, right? Like, if you're going to do something with folks, you need people who are, good collaborators, easy to get along with, not so, attached to, we have to do it this way. Amy, even with her spreadsheets, is very flexible within her spreadsheet situation. So Amy's always fun to work with. So
that's true. Like I find, like when I was working with you guys and when we traveled together for fun, even we were able to pivot easily. Whereas a lot of people just would have given up or just not gone.
Yeah.
And I think that trip to Belize was the catalyst for us to really like, okay, we are a good team.
Yeah.
Because we literally, all three of us did not get the recommended trip insurance, which doesn't sound like Amy at all, but but we
See, I don't remember that detail. You brought that up, and I truly don't remember that.
yeah, so the organizer sent out lots of information, but she highly recommended trip insurance. But I will say that's standard in the retreat world. Everywhere I've ever done retreats, they highly recommend trip insurance because things happen. But I just was so intent on going on this trip, I don't think I was worried about it. And then we bought our plane tickets, and then the trip got canceled. But we were like, okay, so what if they canceled? Like, we just need to find a place to stay. We've got our hotel tickets. We can have fun on our own. We don't need, we don't need like someone to lead the retreat for us to go and have fun. We can do that ourselves.
Like the
Yeah.
podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
did. And I mean, we actually had such a
Great time.
fantastic time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That still goes down. And I said this when we were talking about the beach stuff. Like, I think that still goes down as my favorite vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me too. Yeah.
It's great.
That was one I
Yeah.
could have definitely done another couple of days.
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah.
there's some trips you're like really ready to come home?
Yeah.
But I definitely could have done another couple days there. That was a fun trip.
It
Because you
was.
guys are easy to get along with. Like, and honestly,
Fun. Yeah.
it just sort of comes back to that. Like if you find people that you like to do things with, I think that is a lot rarer than people really acknowledge. Hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, 3 people who really actually get along and travel well together and, are willing to sort of do the give and take because we're very different personalities.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say, but we're so different.
Yeah, and I think that's, there's hope for the world and humanity, people. Like
Yeah.
it can,
You
you
can be different and still get along.
Yes, right? You really, really can. So, there's our lovely message for today,
There
right?
you go. So it's not just all about us in this episode. It truly is. I think it is. It's a good illustration of how people can get along and collaborate together and become close. And I mean, we lived for a whole week together in one space, like not all one bedroom, but
Yeah.
Lara and I
well,
did.
pretty
We
close.
Michelle and I
did.
shared a bedroom.
Just
Well, yeah, and I was
FYI.
gonna say,
And you
guys
guys
are
have
like
shared bedrooms
my
many
little
times on
annex.
trips.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I don't think there
Probably
was
way too many.
I don't think there was ever any issues that weren't easily overcome. Like we just, yeah,
Nothing
we
is
really work well together. And I think you're right. It's a testament to the fact that different personalities can still thrive together as long as you're like giving attention to each person's strengths.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yes.
Well,
It's-
it doesn't always have to be even. So, like again,
Right,
like
it doesn't always have to be even.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I think, and I struggle with this too because I do feel like right now Amy's doing more than any of us.
Amy does. Listen, you guys, I don't do it. Again, I don't
Until
do
4 o'clock
anything but
yesterday,
show
I
up.
hadn't
Yeah.
done anything
So-
for a couple of weeks.
But I also like think that's okay, and none of us are upset by who's doing what. Like that is not the
I
point.
Oh, here we go. Everybody buckle up. Yep. So this wonderful collaboration that we're
Yeah.
talking about, it's about to
come
break up right
crumbling
here.
down.
Amy's gonna
Yeah.
fire us right on the spot. She's gonna be like, "I'm done with you
You
all."
people are such slackers. Yeah.
And that's a good segue into introducing you to the 2 new podcast partners for Amy.
Yeah. Why we started a podcast and why we ended a podcast.
Live right now. Well, not live, but recorded live.
We're live right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so funny, like, thinking back on stuff. But, yeah, and I do think it's, like, funny how different we all are. Like, literally just a little while ago, we were talking about doing some stuff with a sound bath. And I am gonna 100% admit. So we're doing this thing in April, and I'm like,
You'll be fine. Okay.
how
You,
long do I have to sit still?
yeah.
What do I have to do?
If I can try attempt 75 hard and go to a
Oh,
CrossFit gym,
oh, yes.
There you
if I can
go.
do that, you can spend 30
Fair.
minutes hanging out in a sound. You'll be fine.
Very
Yeah.
fair point.
It'll be okay. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, look, if we look back at all the topics we've covered so far on this podcast, it has been all over the place. Like, and I mean in a good way. Like, that's a good thing because it's like we're each in a different decade of life. We each have a different interest in wellness and how we see wellness and a different way of executing it, if you will, or not. And we truthfully just like we learn and grow from each other all the time. And also like any guests we have on or like the stuff we share, like, oh, you guys should read this book or you should watch this podcast or listen to this podcast or watch this YouTube. Like, because we're so different, I think that's what brings us together, I guess.
Mm.
Because I would not find some of the things that Amy is sending us. Just like,
Oh, I definitely would never.
I definitely wouldn't be doing a sound bath without
right,
y'all.
and you wouldn't be doing a sound bath if it wasn't for me.
Or grounding.
Yeah, exactly. And like Michelle's reading some things that, again, like that blow your mind. That it's just like, I don't know, like the three of us are like more complete because of our differences.
Right? So the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That's so
right? Like, don't you love that? What a great saying. I wonder where I'll have to see where that came from. But that, like when people talk about synergy, although, overused word.
Yeah.
But this is that, right? When you bring things together and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
I think the other thing that I like, there's so many things I love about us. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but there's a lot of things that I love about us. But is the fact that we're real. Like, I am so tired of the curated, like, social stuff and the, this and that. Like, for goodness sakes, we're talking about Michelle's clutter and her dead cat in a box. And, like,
I promise to bury all my cats, all 3 of them will get buried in their little boxes as soon as the ground is thawed. I'll find a lovely little spot for them.
Yeah, like, just, I don't know. I just feel like we're a little more real life than like, and today we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think part of, at least this is what I've heard people say too, but I think part of the appeal with this format that we just kind of, most of the time, we pretty much go off the cuff.
I'm sure everyone's gonna find that a shocker.
You mean they're not doing hours of pre-work? Oh my gosh.
What?
Like in the beginning, we might have tried to do a little bit more prep on some certain subjects, but then we found like we gravitated towards subjects where we knew we could just talk about from personal experience.
Yeah. I've had like multiple people say to me, like, when I listen to you guys, I feel like I'm just like sitting in the living room, like talking to you guys, sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, that is for me, that's a big part of why I think we want to keep doing this, or why we do it, is because it's, and I think I read this once too, like there are a lot of people out there who really don't have like that support, the support group that are close to them. I'm not saying we can replace that, but I do feel like people might be listening to us and saying like, hey, it's okay not to be curated, not to be perfect. It's okay to have questions or like, be investigating like things everywhere from sound bath to 75 hard,
That's our motto. 3 monkeys. Sound bath to 75 hard.
From sound bath to 75.
That's our tagline.
Horrible.
For Monkey Chatter. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's such the fun of it for me.
Yeah.
I definitely would not Lara, I think back to when I was going through coach training. I hope you're okay with me sharing this, but I had to have a practice
Yes.
client.
If
So I'm at
not,
coach training, right?
oh,
And it's a major thing. Like I'm in Washington, D.C. It's a 2-year program. I'm going to D.C. like every other week or some craziness. Anyway, I'm maybe into like the second weekend, and they're like, oh, you need to, like right now, you're going to leave the little group and you need to go get a practice client, like call who's and I'm like, oh my God, because they don't want you to use your family or super close friends. And then at that time, Lara and I were more like acquaintances. Like we weren't really
Yeah.
close friends, like having conversations like this all the time.
We were more like
But I was
colleagues.
yes, I think
We're colleagues. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, well, I'm going to call Lara. Maybe she'll be up for this crazy shit that I have to do. Oops, sorry,
now
Amy.
I gotta put the
I'm sorry.
expletives on there.
It's always the old lady who's slipping up, right? I can't manage to not swear. So Lara was gracious enough to volunteer to be my first test client. And this was before she did anything with yoga, any of that. And so it's been really kind of fun to, you know, have her be part of that part of my journey, and then
Yes.
also get to watch like what has happened. Like I look at Lara and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what this, you know what I mean?
I want to be Lara when I grow up.
Right? I mean, really like took such a risk, and really talk about planning, right? Like really had to stick to it and plan, and then ultimately have the Salt Cave. But when I think about how fortunate to have shared history with people, like over year, like I don't even remember how many years ago that was. That was like 2015 maybe.
Yeah, it was a long
Gosh.
time ago. It was probably like 2015 or so, or around it. Yeah.
But to
Mhm.
share history and to watch sort of the evolution of people you really do care about, like you're really interested in and really do care about, and be able to have conversation about it, right? It's not like just watching from afar, like, oh, look at Lara, she managed to pull off a salt cave, but like really knowing the ends, she managed to leave industry and start something completely new. And at how you were in your 50s when you
Yeah. When I actually opened the business, I was in my 50s.
yeah,
I,
what a great, I
Wow.
mean, and I know her.
just barely
I
in
know
my
her.
50s. Yeah.
I know her. Super inspiring, right? So to be able to share other people that you admire, and but that are like just normal people, it's much easier, I think, for folks, and I hope that folks who do listen to this, that's part of it. It's much easier to imagine yourself doing something like that
Mm.
when you see somebody who's just a real person, like the normal, this is life, like this is how life unfolds, and you can make a different choice and make it happen.
Yeah.
I didn't yeah. Anyway, Lara, I'm always so inspired by you and your
Oh,
journey.
you
Lara.
guys are sweet. I mean, you guys inspire me the same way. It's like when you did that, Michelle, that was probably like a catalyst for me to say, like, hey, I could do things differently. I could investigate different training, or, we can all learn new things. Everybody can learn something new. And same thing with Amy, like you went out and did all that nutrition and coach. I mean, and plus you were already embodying it in such a big way.
Was I?
You were.
My
We
gosh.
watched you.
You
Good
were getting,
God, Amy.
you literally were getting me, who is not a morning person, up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go get on a
Yes.
treadmill.
Yes. Me too. Right?
Forgot about that.
Oh my gosh.
I just remember thinking, dang it, this is like, I've got to get up early and go on a treadmill. But Amy encouraged me, made it
Yes.
I
fun.
promise. Yeah.
But I do want to reiterate what you said, Michelle, which is like, we're all regular people. Like,
Mm.
I didn't have a trust fund. I didn't go and like be
You
like,
didn't?
what can I
I know
do
you
with all
didn't.
this money? I'm going to open a business. It wasn't like that. It was just this weird calling that I was feeling compelled to make this big change. And it didn't happen overnight. Like, it was a lot of planning, and it was a lot of writing, up plans and business plans and all that. But
And working 2 jobs,
and
basically.
working 2 jobs for
Yeah.
2.5 years. Like, it was maybe almost 3 years. I mean, like, I think a lot of people see business owners or people who leave the corporate world or leave something behind or do something new. I think they see them almost as like, I don't know, like they've been like, just like it was easy. Like
Mm.
it was like, here's,
They're not like me, right? They don't have
yeah,
the things
that's what
to
it is.
overcome that I have, right?
They
Yeah.
think they can't, like, and if anything, I want to inspire people, like, you will find a way, you can find a way, if you really want to do something. And it doesn't matter if you say, oh, I might want to do this, and you change your mind. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
totally fine. You might, like, I went through yoga teacher training, but I didn't want to open a yoga studio. Like, I love teaching yoga, but that was not my primary goal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think, like, I don't know, like, I just want people to be inspired by the idea that, one, you're never too old to switch gears, and you're really never too old to learn new things, even though it's really hard when you get older.
It is. That is true. It is
Yeah.
harder as you get older, for
It
sure.
is. I just started learning Italian.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. I'm
That's right,
supposed to
for
be
your
learning
trip, yeah.
Spanish. Crap. Sorry.
Didn't we challenge each other, or was
Yes, and I didn't do it.
Oh.
is that a future episode, or
Yeah, I think we
Yeah, it is.
I think we
Okay.
better
Thank
regroup
you
on
for
that.
the reminder. I didn't even that totally went.
Well, I'll send you guys a link, and maybe we can get a little sponsorship from Babbel, because
Oh.
I signed up with Babbel, and they gave me a really good deal. It's a 6-month membership.
I like how you're doing like the little
Right.
shimmy shake to the
It's the
side.
Italian thing, right?
Babbel.
That's right, because you're doing that
Ciao
thing in Italy.
Bella,
Yeah.
ciao Bella.
Yeah, because
nice.
isn't your yoga, like, you're
Yeah, in
doing a yoga thing in
October.
October?
Yeah, so I'm co-teaching a yoga retreat in Italy. It's a wine and yoga retreat. So a little healthy, a little not so healthy.
Well,
But
they say wine is kind of healthy.
I feel like Italian wine is really healthy, and Italian food, from what I hear, the food is so fresh and organic, and everything's natural over there. So we'll make up for any little
That's
bit
a
of my
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
story.
a story we
you're
tell
telling yourself
ourselves.
Yes, that's a good story.
Calories still count.
That is
All right,
Just-
Amy.
Just saying. Not to rain on your parade, but calories do still count.
Hopefully we'll be walking a lot and through the cute
Yes.
little towns and things.
Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's Anyway, so I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Shout out to Babbel. We're learning Italian, Spanish, and whatever
Spanish.
Amy chooses for her.
I don't know. I forget.
I forget.
What was I
We'll have to
supposed to
listen
be?
we'll have to
I
listen
know we're gonna have to go back and listen. What were you supposed to be learning?
the language.
Language, any language.
Lara, like what you just said there about like, us just being normal people and like, you're not too old, blah, blah, blah. It just really, like my wheels were spinning as you were saying that, because I feel like you guys make me out to be like this athlete or something.
You are like an athlete. Amy, what the heck?
When
Amy
we're on
was
here.
an athlete.
Thanks for saying
Okay.
heck.
Yes. Well, I still messed it up.
But it's okay. No, but like I feel like you guys make out this thing, and like yes, I've done some like crazy runs and do all the gym stuff or whatever. But so I on the fitness side, so Lara's talking about this from like the the business side and changing careers and all of that stuff. But like from the fitness side, that's the other thing. Like you really got me going there whenever you were saying that. I'm like, yes, from the fitness side, you can do this anytime. Like
I love
you
that.
can start anytime. And you don't have like I played 0 sports in high school. I don't have an athletic bone in my body. Like I am not coordinated. I rode horses and that was it. Like seriously played 0 sports in high school, elementary school, anything. Like did not do any of that. And people are like, "Oh, you run all these crazy miles and you do all this crazy stuff." I still remember the first time that I ran a mile and I thought I was going to die. Like and like it's so funny because I'm still friends with the personal trainer that I had like years ago when I first started lifting and then started into CrossFit and all that stuff. And he's like, "Oh, I remember trying to teach you how to snatch," which is like just one of the lifts where you basically take the barbell and go up overhead. And he's like, it is bad, and it's still not good, but it was even worse then. So, and that was in my, I guess that was probably late 30s, maybe. And like the whole ultra marathon stuff, like I didn't get into that until I was in my mid 40s. So yeah. And yeah. So thanks, Lara, for saying that, because I definitely want to say that on the fitness side of things too. Like you don't have to be like a college athlete or whatever to start taking care of your health. Woo, I'm very passionate about that, in case you can't
Go,
tell.
girl.
You
Well,
get your
yeah,
crap
and you just
together.
touched on a whole nother reason that we do the podcast is because I think that, like you said it, like whether we realize it or not, we might be inspiring somebody in some small way, maybe a big way. If one person listening to this podcast says, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I could do that." Like, I just want to, like, I want people to know that they can do it. Yes, there might be obstacles. There might be real physical obstacles. There also might be limiting beliefs that hold you back. But we all went through that. The three of us had those too. We didn't not have those. And I
So
feel
Amy, right? So talk about, yeah. So
Oh no,
Amy,
where are we going with this? I don't like when
Lara
you start out with
definitely has
Amy.
inspired me in so many ways. Amy, because I was there really talking about when we were rooming together all the time, traveling. I was there when Amy first started like hopping on the treadmill. And Lara, you're right, like making me feel a little guilty and dragging me along. Like, oh, she's gonna get up and she's putting her clothes out tonight. I guess I could put my clothes out tonight and get dressed. So that has been great too, to watch Amy go from like doing her treadmill right when you started CrossFit and we're starting to run whatever. I remember that. I forget, it might, what hotel that was or what, but I can have a clear picture in my head of you like on the treadmill as you were like starting this journey.
Yeah.
And I hate to exercise, so let's just be clear.
She does.
Yes,
That is not
with a passion.
not
Like I am like, there's got to be a way around this. Like, can I pay somebody to do it for me? Can I, like, there has to be a way around it. But I will tell you, and I'm the oldest one here, right? I'm like the 60s decade. I am now working with a personal trainer, lifting weights, for God's sakes.
so
I was
proud of you.
Yeah, yes, it's so awesome. And today, so of course she's, my little personal trainer gal is much younger than I am and really kind of fun and really enthusiastic. And she's like, today when I left, she goes, "You hardly complained at all today."
Like, thank God.
I was like,
progress.
yes. So I was lifting things up and putting them down and doing push-ups. Oh God, why does anybody do those? Doing those push-ups and sit-ups and all the things. So folks who are thinking they can't do it because they can't, yeah, you can. You can. I hate to tell you, you can. And I get why you would choose not to. And totally get it. But don't wait too long to, get out there and start doing it. Like, it's really important to have some bone strength and be strong. And like, I want to keep riding. So, things need to work and not break. Like, I don't want to break them. Yeah.
And I think we're going to have an upcoming podcast on longevity at some point.
Oh, we are. We really need to. That would be a good one.
Yeah.
So thank you, Amy, for inspiring me to go do things I really don't want to do. Talk about, getting comfortable with discomfort. Yeah. Truly don't want to do it. I don't.
And I mean, when and like speaking of, like, when did you do so not only on physical side, but like you started your coaching? Like, I know you've always kind of been into like the
woo-woo, all the
no, not the woo-woo, like the learning, the lifelong learning
like
stuff.
I'm really, I've always found that super
That's
fast.
how the mind works.
Yeah, like you
that.
really got like into that, at least as far as I know, like really got into that. You were in your 50s, 40s,
40s. Yeah. That was
Mm-hmm.
when I really, like, I think the first thing I did was an ag leadership program called Lead New York that Cornell does. And it was a 2-year program. And that really, shout out to anybody who lives in New York who has access to those programs. If you get a chance to do them, do them. That really got me started thinking more seriously about it. And when I finished that, um, I talked myself into doing an Equus coaching certification. That's a whole conversation for another day, but really kind of, yeah, like, what am I doing? And this is like a stupid, like, yeah. But you know what? Truly a great experience. And even though it's not something I went on to like do, like make a career out of, kind of like you were talking about with the yoga, Lara.
Mhm.
It was, I learned so much, and it was well worth the, the time and resources put into it. But that's, you know, so I'm the curious monkey, right? So I really love to learn. I was just talking to my husband, Bill, if you're listening,
I'm
last
sure
night
he
at
is.
dinner. And I was like, if you had if you could just go every day for like 90 minutes, 2 hours a day, and just learn about something that you're interested, like, what would that be? Like, there's no pressure. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to monetize it. You just get to dig into it for 2 hours a day. And like, what would you want to spend your time learning?
Ooh, that's a
What
really
a
good
great
question.
question. See, this is what Michelle is so good at.
Yeah. Mhm.
Good questions. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious about what Bill said.
Well, it was kind of funny because, of course, he never answers those questions,
Yeah.
Bill. Like, you never really give me an answer. But at the time, he's really into bird watching. Like, we have all these bird feeders right outside our window, so like you can watch them from the dining room table. And he's like, "Look at that! We have these woodpeckers who have, I have a love hate with the woodpeckers because we live in a log cabin, so
Oh,
just use imagination."
Mm-mm.
Um, but he's like, well, the females have red on their cheek and whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe that would be what you would want to spend your, I never got a clear answer. So I don't know what he would really spend his time on.
Does
But
it have to be the same topic every day, or can we learn about
I don't,
different
you can,
things?
it's your jam. Like
Ooh,
you
I am
can,
learning about
yeah,
because I'm a
I
hummingbird. And, like,
that's a,
yes.
I mean, that would be a fantasy to be able to
Isn't it? Oh,
do that. And like, honestly, because, and I don't think there's anybody in the world that could say there's nothing that they would want to pursue for 2 hours a day if it were no charge, no hampering of their time. It would not like take away from anything else they were doing. It was just this like bonus 2 hours and you could learn whatever you wanted. Like there's got to be something for everybody out there. It could be anything.
don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, like that's such a fascinating idea to explore.
Yeah, I mean, I get it like a little giddy thinking it like, oh,
Me
but I've
too.
always
Yeah.
been that way.
Well,
Like I should have I should have really been, my dad used to be like, you can't just be a student forever. You need to like get a
Mm.
job. You can't just keep going to school. And I guess that was when I decided that I wasn't going to go be a professor or go get a PhD because I needed to get like a real job. But my perfect life probably would have been spent sort of in that space where you just are doing research, learning things, and yeah,
you could
that would
still
have.
get a PhD.
I don't.
Ooh,
I
there's a
could.
challenge.
I could, but man, I don't think I would. It's not that important. Like it for
Mm.
me, it's not about the PhD. It's about the 2 hours a day digging into
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yeah,
I get that. I mean,
yeah.
I know that that is like a huge like I could just like it dangles in front of me like a carrot because I
Ugh.
mean, I have things I have started and never finished because it was just so interesting to me, but then the reality of life and all the other things that had to get done, like this is going to sound crazy if you're not into yoga, but there was this course online and I think it also gave me some credit, like continuing education credit. So that was another reason I took that particular one, but I still haven't finished it. I can go back, but it was all about the psoas and how the psoas affects you emotionally, not just physically. And
Ooh.
I mean, it was fascinating, but life got in the way, right? So I haven't finished it. But like if I had 2 hours a day, I could get that thing done. That's the
Right?
first one I would do.
I
I know
love that.
SOAS
Yeah.
is so exciting. Look
But
at
man,
it. You're
what
not
a
sure what
big
it is.
deal though. Like I
Yeah.
totally like that is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amy,
Yeah.
do you have something? And I'm kind of I could see where
Mm.
like and yeah, you could jump from thing to thing, right?
The vagus nerve, the vagal, toning your vagal nerve. I mean, that would be a whole nother subject matter I would love to dive much deeper into.
Yeah.
What about you, Amy? Is there any like subject that's just intriguing that you just have never had time to
Oh
explore?
my gosh. I would dig into a ton of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, I feel like the last couple of times I've been up at my, like, up visiting my dad and stuff, I would just start, like, I felt like Michelle, like, just start asking all these random questions about stuff. And then, like, I would go to YouTube because we got him one of the little TiVo sticks or whatever so we can watch YouTube.
Oh,
And I'm like, let's see if we can find a documentary on that. And so, like, we'll watch it. But I don't know. I mean, of course, I would always do some sort of like health and wellness stuff. Like I
Yeah.
could learn about stuff like that forever. I'm trying to think if there's like some random something. No, that's a really good question. Let me
there you
think
go.
about
Yeah, think about it. And Michelle, like,
so-
is there a subject, Michelle, that you have thought about that you haven't actually like?
So many things. For me, most of it, I just love history. Like I love history. And also I'm super interested in sort of humans in general and how we not so much like government or politics, but more around like civics and communities and how people could and have lived differently
Mm-hmm.
than our culture, so I really love all that stuff. But history, I like
Yeah, you are a history
sociology.
person.
Like, oh my God, I could just that would be and obviously different parts of it, so there's so much there. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might do gardening.
Ooh,
Garden-
Billy's
I
really
think
into
I
Billy.
wanna,
You
like-
should talk to Amy about
Oh, yeah.
gardening.
Yeah, I think I want to do like vegetables.
Yeah, and
That's-
the bird thing is cool too because like they have apps now that you can. I have one on my
Oh yeah,
phone.
you can hear the bird.
Yeah,
and
you
then
listen to the bird and it tells you what bird it is, and yeah, that's a cool one. You can keep track. And I have a bird feeder that my children, or maybe my son, I don't know if both of them. Sorry, kids. It's a bird feeder that has a camera on it, and it IDs the birds,
Oh, that's cool.
and you
Holy
can see them up
high-tech.
close.
That's
It's
really cool. Good
can-
gift, whichever, both.
Or
Yeah.
both. You can also see when raccoons knock it off the tree and are poking around it at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
interesting.
pesky animals. Boy, yeah. You should see our squirrel. Oh my gosh, a whole other podcast. Our squirrel deterrent setup is I have watched some squirrels go crashing to the ground in ways that you are sure they are never surviving.
And they're fun.
And nope, they just get right up but that is really fun to watch.
I think
And-
squirrels bounce.
Yeah.
Nature.
Nature.
Like,
See,
yeah, just like the way that the world and nature interacts, and like how animals, like the whole animal communication thing is like,
you would just stay out of their way,
yeah,
right? Like if
Yeah.
we
stop
just,
building
True.
stuff in
yeah.
their world.
That's true.
Yeah.
And folks, this is why we started a podcast.
Like, who said before we started recording this one could be a pretty short one? Yeah.
Here we are. Yeah.
And we were like,
Amanda.
no, I don't think it will be.
No, I don't think so either.
Just
We've
don't have it.
been
Yeah.
all over the place.
I don't think
We've
there's
been-
many subjects that we can't just keep talking about.
Yeah.
Most subjects, if we talk long enough, we could just continue talking forever.
Yeah.
And
We
we go
didn't have a
somewhere.
recording limit or an audience
It's a good thing
Yeah,
we have a
attention
recording
span.
limit.
which we probably already lost most of you by now
Or
anyway.
go to the bathroom, since
Yeah.
Michelle and I are drinking a gallon of water a day.
God, that is so that's for another conversation. Holy
So-
goodness.
That'd
Yeah,
be a
you
good
could-
episode, though, to talk about what your experience on 75 Hard. Michelle.
Mm.
Yes, especially for Michelle, because this was when
So-
I got the text that said, I will let you know tomorrow morning if I'm going to start. And then I got the text that said, day 1. I
Ah!
was like, what?
Now,
yeah, a little
in all
preview.
honesty, I'm not doing the. You're supposed to be taking like a picture every day or something.
A
I'm
progress
not
picture.
doing it. There
Yeah.
are some things I just cannot do, so not doing that.
But you're doing the other stuff,
I
which
am.
is
Yes,
yeah. The picture is just annoying. Like,
yeah, I'm not
So-
doing that.
yeah, just a quick, and then yes, I think
So
we
I
should
guess
talk
you
about
should say
this.
what 75 Hard is. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's this program by this guy called Andy Frisella, and I think a lot of people think it's a weight loss program, and it's not. It truly is a mental toughness
Mhm.
program. A lot of people lose weight on it just because they get their crap together, and but
We'll
it
see.
is it is so it's 2 workouts a day. One of them has to be outside. Each of them are 45 minutes, and they have to be like 3 to 4 hours apart. So really it's just so that you plan your day. And I said to another friend of ours that's actually doing it, I was like, the program forces you to like take the BS out of your day. Like you've got to like plan it all out. So yeah, 2 workouts, 45 minutes. One has to be outside regardless of the weather. 10 pages of nonfiction. So learning about something or whatever, do that. A gallon of water, no alcohol at all, and stick to a diet, but your diet can be like
Whatever
obviously,
you choose, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know, some people do keto, some people do intermittent fasting, some people do whole foods only, like there's all kinds of stuff, but chocolate, I think one of the things
No
he says on a
cheating.
podcast
Yeah.
is like no chocolate chips, and like
Mm.
when it's not right.
So healthy eating, not necessarily
Yes.
diet.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So some sort of healthy, and then the gallon of water. What am I missing, Michelle? The
That's
progress
it.
pick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm bailing on the progress pick. So it's my
Yeah.
version of 75 Hard. A few tweaks.
Sounds
but
interesting.
I'll let you know I'm on day 4. I still need to eat dinner, but I did my
Well,
2
I
work.
think it's always good to challenge yourself in those kinds of ways because, like you said, it's about the mental toughness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a way to prove to yourself in a way that you can do the hard things.
And it really does this could be a whole other subject. Like it really does make people change their lives.
Yeah, if you do it for
sometimes.
is it 75 days?
Days.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I mean that's that's how you make a habit.
Yeah.
I love that.
I've
I don't
done
want to
it
do it though.
one time before, and then last year I started it twice and failed it. One because I was in Vegas and I didn't get my outdoor workout in before it got dark, and I really did not want to go out and do it by myself at night. And
So you can't have a pass for like something like that for one day?
No, you have to
Nope,
start
you fail,
all
you start
over.
over.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And the other one was when Tony and I went on vacation, and we got to the Airbnb, and I just totally forgot the second workout. Like got there, got all our stuff in, like just whoop, didn't even think about it. So so this will be, hopefully this one should stick.
I think I could do all of it except for I couldn't do it in the winter because there's no way I'm working outside in the winter.
I gotta tell you, I'm super glad that I'm starting it in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
And then
think
there's
I'd
a
like
whole other thing.
No,
There's like a
And
real
there is
cardio.
no illusion that this is something I'm doing for fun. Like
But it is a whole, like it is a game changer from a mental standpoint.
I will keep you all
Yeah.
posted because anyway.
Anyway, yeah, we are coming up on
We've
an hour.
done a whole
and we should
hour.
probably,
Wow.
I
You
need to
this
go to
up.
bed.
I
is
know,
what
right?
needs to
Oh
happen.
God.
Yeah,
So-
because this episode is coming to you basically right around the time of the time change, so all of us are probably running a little low on our sleep.
Yeah, we're recording. Yeah, recording it like the day after the time change, but
yeah.
it'll probably come out like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 more weeks, I think. Yay.
Yeah.
Well, That was fun. I enjoyed rehashing like how we came to be.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
bringing up some more memories. And we are actually going to be, all three of us, live and in person together in like a month.
Yes.
from
We
the time
should
of recording this.
record. Are we going to
Yes,
record
so
one
we're,
night?
yes, so we're together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured we planned that, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's why there's three of us. One of us
Yeah.
will be
That's what we're doing Monday night, or not Monday night.
Sunday.
Oh, we'll
Sunday
figure that
night.
out.
Sunday
Yeah.
maybe.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, we'll let
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So should
Are
we
we
do our
gonna-
chant?
Oh, sure.
Sure. And who's gonna do? All right.
Count us
We're
down,
going
Amy.
fast.
Okay,
right?
fast.
Monkey chatter. Monkey chatter.
Chatter.
Who
Who
hang
hang
with
with chatters?
Maybe if I clap like this.
Okay, ready?
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Monkey chatter. Monkey chatter.
chatter.
Who hang with chatters? There we go.
Clapping didn't help.
I don't know. It sounded better on this end.
Oh, it did not sound good on my end.
Make it stop, Amy.
And we're out.
Thanks for listening to Monkey Chatter today. As a reminder, we want to let you know that while we think we are really smart, none of us are doctors or medical professionals. So anything that we say or suggest on this podcast should be run by your doctor before you make any major lifestyle, nutrition, or medication changes. Take care and be well, friends.